Hey, welcome to Explore HVAC and Home Services, where we uncover the stories and some secrets behind successful businesses. I'm your host, Pam Mashburn, and today we're joined by a special guest from Reardon HVAC. It's actually Chris Reardon from Franklin, Massachusetts. Welcome, Chris.
Hi, how you doing today?
I am good. So, you guys have been in business for over 70 years, which I think is just incredible. You're third generation, is that right?
Yes. I wasn't around for the beginning, but I have taken over at this point. But yeah, it was my grandfather's company. He started it in, I believe, 1955 when he got back from overseas out of his grandmother's garage in West Roxbury, Massachusetts, and eventually moved to Jamaica Plain, where he purchased a building there. And then we moved out here to our current location in Franklin about 15, 16 years ago at this point.
Yeah, I met your dad, you and your dad a while back, probably a year or so ago, and I thought it was a really interesting story how it all came about. And um, you've grown up in that business, but it's not where did you always want to be in the HVAC business or
Not necessarily. So I started full time with the company in roughly 2009. Um, I was about 20 years old, 20, 21 years old at that point. But I mean, previously to that, I was working school vacations, February, April school vacations, any days off that my school had. I was going to work with my father and my grandfather, working summers for the company. So, I mean, I was really, in the business for growing up. I do remember going on a service call when I was probably about 6 years old because there was nobody around to watch me. And my father got a call on a Saturday, and away I went with him.
I love that. I love that. So, but you did some other stuff before you came back into the business, right?
Sure. And truthfully, being a third generation family business, I go to work and my grandfather was there, my father was there, and we all had three different personalities for sure. Got along, love them both dearly. My grandfather since passed, but it was definitely an interesting dynamic at some point. And I really wasn't overly interested in it when I got of age to kind of decide what I wanted to do with my life. So I worked a few other jobs, worked in the kitchen for a short period of time. It was interesting. And then I had a big passion for cars. I had a Mustang that I liked working on. It was my first vehicle that I had in high school. And I really wanted to get into working on cars for a short period of time. So I actually went to school for that after high school, technical school. Um, did that for about a year and a half, 2 years. And I was kind of looking around at the people around me, and everyone I was working around was miserable. And I'm not sure if this is in relation to the specific shop I was working at, but they all seemed miserable. I was looking at 50, 60-year-old guys who were telling me I'm an idiot for getting into this business.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't quite encouraging at the time. And I'm looking at them and I'm kind of just wondering what the future is going to be with that.
Yeah.
Um, and around that time, we had moved the business from Jamaica Plain out to Franklin, Mass. And I was kind of helping out with my father, moving the shop and getting things taken care of. And we kind of started talking and figure out a way that, maybe this could work with me working with a family business moving forward. That'd be a more comfortable situation for all of us. And I really think that, even at that time, not having a ton of business experience with heating and air conditioning, but I think what drew me back to it is that I felt there was a future in it. A great way, you know, uh, a great lifestyle, a great way to make some good money while we're doing it, and you're really helping people. One thing I loved about the business at the time, being young, is you were always in a new place every couple of days. If you're running service work, you're in 4 or 5 places a day. But the scenery always was changing. I felt it was challenging work enough for me. Um, that made it exciting and interesting. And I really just enjoyed, uh, the camaraderie and the group that we had at that time working with them too. So we made the decision to kind of come back into the business full time around that point. Help my father out and see what we could do with the company.
Yeah. And your father is he's a big personality, and
Oh,
so
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, and he is a mess. I love him. I love
Mhm.
Tom. But, so tell me, like, um, looking back on that, would you have done like, did you have some good healthy boundaries with your dad, or did you have to, like, how did that relationship work? Because I think a lot of people that listen to our podcast are family, multi-generation type businesses, or they wanna be, but maybe their kids aren't that interested yet.
Right, right. Yeah, and I used to joke when I was younger too. I was third generation, too lazy to go out and find another job. Uh,
I would say that you're anything but lazy, Chris. So
of course, just joking.
I know it. You are one of the hardest working people I know.
Well,
In
thank you.
fact, I loved the story of, you guys have a business coaching group that you work with.
Yes,
And
the
that's kind
Everest
of how
group.
we met. And you had said, like, before you really started working on the business, it was some tough times.
Oh,
Can you talk a
absolutely.
little bit about that? I found that fascinating.
Sure, sure. Yeah. I'm wide open about that and our experiences, around the time, especially early in my career. Which again, I felt this could be a lucrative career and, a good choice for me moving forward. But around 2009, when we moved our business out of Jamaica Plain, about 20 miles south to Franklin, Mass, which could be an hour or 2 hour commute, depending upon the day with our New England traffic here. Um, around that time, the economy tanked. And we moved out here to a new location. We saw one good year, our first year, and then it just was a struggle at that point. So now we're in a new area and we're trying to get our customer base out here. We're still maintaining our customers in the city and trying to whittle them down at the same time. But sure, yeah, there was a lot of difficult times around that time period. It wasn't quite this tight, but you go and run a service call in the city, and you hope you pick up a check from the customer so you could cash it on the way back to put fuel in the truck.
Yeah.
Not quite that bad, but there was some difficult times around then for sure. And at some point, um, kind of a couple of years down the line there, my father and I, we work, and we had a couple other employees with us at the time. But I mean, the day would start, at 6 a.m. I'd be out. I'd go to Dunkin' because that's a big coffee chain around us.
Yeah.
I grab a sandwich and a coffee from them, and I'd just be going all out until about 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, where I finally felt like myself shutting down. And then I looked to grab another coffee because I needed to pick me up. And I'd realized that I haven't touched that sandwich next to me. It's been sitting in the truck all day with me, riding around from call to call. Um, and we would just end up every night going to our favorite Mexican food joint that was local to us. It'd be about 8 o'clock at night by the time we finished work. And just have a full meal then, probably the most unhealthy thing for you. Full Mexican meal, and
I don't know, those chips are good. The
they
chips and sauce are good.
endless chips and salsa were amazing. Uh, so we'd go home and just start over the next day again. I mean, and that went on for a long time. It was definitely difficult times for sure. And we were working hard. It wasn't, lack of hard work that we weren't seeing much production out of it. I think it was just where we're putting our energy and how to concentrate that.
Yeah.
You mentioned it earlier, but our business coaching group, the Everest group, really kind of changed the way we look at how we run calls, how, effective we are while we're working and what we're actually getting out of it. So, that's been a big game changer for us as far as, how to do this business properly and, effectively. So we're all not working till 8 o'clock at night and, just eating Mexican food and going to sleep and waking up the next day doing the same thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think the difference is because since I own my own business, one of the things that you recognize is if it's just a one-man show or two-man show, you really
Mhm.
just have a low-paying job, you
Sure.
know? It's not until you start getting other people so that you can take vacation, right?
Right.
So that you can have time to really grow and work on the business. How big are you
Absolutely.
guys right now? Like, how many techs do you have?
So right now we are just one service technician and we have one install crew, which a change out crew, which consists of one lead tech and then one help.
So, are you looking to grow beyond that, or are you happy with where you're at right now?
So I'm happy with where I'm at right now. I'm never satisfied with where we're at. Always looking to grow. Truthfully, I'd like to at least double that next couple of years. Um, as long as we can maintain the quality that we've been putting out, we can still hire the correct people. Right now, I've got an amazing crew that works for us. Um, you know, again, nothing but compliments about these guys all the time. We have a really good culture going on right now at our company. So as long as I can maintain that and get growth at the same time, I'd like to grow, significantly in the next couple of years.
When you are hiring someone, what are the like top 3 things that you look for?
Um, well, I'm sure a lot of other contractors can feel for me on this, and for themselves. But they walk through the door when you have a scheduled appointment with them for an interview. That's number
Yeah.
one. But yeah, really, I look for attitude. Experience is important for sure, but attitude, I think, is number one. Um,
It's hard to teach that, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I've always told my guys, and I felt this way for myself too. You can be the best technician in the world, whether that's, a service tech, an install tech, change out tech. But if you can't simply convey that to a customer, what you've done, and break it down in layman's terms for them, it doesn't matter. Because they're just going to glaze over if you think you just know more than the customer, and they don't need to know, the ins and outs of what you've done. um, it's just going to shut that relationship down with the customer
Right.
immediately. You don't have to be a great talker or anything like that, but you just need to be able to break down with somebody what you're doing, why you're doing it very quickly. Otherwise, that customer is just not going to be engaged with you at all. And
Right.
they're not going to trust you. And if you tell them they need to spend $500-600 here, they're just going to not agree with you. So that's paramount for me, as well as trainability. If you're getting flustered or upset when I'm trying to make a critique on what we're doing here to improve the work balance for both of us or our relationship with the customers,
Yeah.
that's huge as well. So you got to be trainable. You got to be able to just take a little bit of critiquing, which I don't do a lot of, just a couple points here and there with my guys. Um, and really, I think we've hired mostly for personality over talent with our last 3 hires, and
Yeah.
it's been nothing but beneficial for us.
Love that. Right. And I love that you talk about just create that relationship with your clients and just having good communication skills.
Mhm,
So, how do you keep fostering that? Because people get burnout. They have different seasons in their life. Is there
mhm.
anything like do y'all have regular trainings with your guys or
Not so
something
much
like that?
rules, but I'll discuss with the guys about certain circumstances that are ongoing with a customer, or things that have been discussed between the customer and myself, or emails that I get after the fact about the job, perhaps. And I'll just go over that with all my guys and just be in front of them and say, hey, this is what happened, and this is what I think is going on here, what the customer might be feeling. How do we cover their major concerns here and just, take care of them a little bit better, or, even anticipate. My wife, Megan, will have a phone call with the customer ahead of time, and she'll just convey that to myself or the text, like, hey, this is her main concern.
Yeah.
This is what she's kind of worried about. It might not even be anything to do with the fact that, this customer might not have heat, might not have air conditioning. It might just be that they don't want you to park in the driveway,
Okay.
or something as simple
But
as that.
everything's a learning experience for everybody, which
Absolutely,
I
yeah,
love.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. So
Mhm.
your wife works in the business. How long has
Yes.
she been working there?
She's been working with us full time for about 3 years now.
And okay, so how's that going? I
It's
think it's
going
hard
good.
for husband and wives sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, we didn't have enough family members around here, so I thought I'd add some more?
You're missing some of your family members being there. I love
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's going pretty well. We get along well here. I think the biggest thing is communication with each other. That's the utmost important. Um, it's not an easy thing to do for sure. But really, we also have some of our separation where she's in the office primarily, answering calls, things like that, and I'm be in and out of the office, so it gives us a little time where we're not, around each other 24 hours a day.
Yeah, well, I would know, I was gonna say, is it hard when you go home, to leave it at the office, or does it just kind of bleed over?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. And I've always had difficulty with that. Especially where I was working with and living with my father for years, is trying to just set some kind of boundaries and have something else to talk about for sure. That always used to be Thanksgiving dinner at my grandparents' house, where my father and my grandfather were there. And you might get 5 minutes in, and then you're all of a sudden talking about a job you were on or a customer or something like that. And it's like, it's difficult. I don't have any magic answer for it, but,
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely a constant challenge for sure.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
So, let me ask you this, what does a good day in business look like compared to maybe 10 years ago? Like, what do you count as a good day?
Um, Production. So if we had a productive day, um, no callbacks, and I would put up there everyone's getting out on time. They just worked their regular shift. No one stuck late. They had all the supplies they needed, all the equipment they needed. Um, they're not getting hung up. I think that's important. One big thing for me and the employees that we've hired that are family is that I promote a good work-life balance in my shop. Um, I tell these guys, I go, I'm not living to work here. I'm working to live, and I expect that kind of out of everybody here. So it's important to me that I respect their time and what they might have going on with their families outside of work. I'm really pressed to get everyone out of here on time at 5 o'clock. And that's part of our culture here too. Is where if my service tech finishes up and he's all set to go for the day, and he might be done early, a couple hours early. Um, it's important to me that he checks in with our changeout crew to make sure they don't need anything, or he can run over there, just give them a hand so they can all get out of there on time or out of there a little early. That's important to me. As long as those few things are going and we're making money doing it, I'm a okay with it. Whereas, I used to just work all hours of the day and just try to take, this call, that call, and just I'd stack my schedule up and, be running around like a chicken with my head cut off. But, I don't think that was the way to actually do things efficiently and effectively around here.
So, it sounds like there is some changes there, which is good. I love that,
Hmm.
you're working to live and you're not living to work, but working to live, and that you really respect, your guys' times and their time with their families. I think that's really important. Um,
Absolutely.
Let me ask you, looking back, what advice would you give your younger self? Now that you've been in the business since 2009, how many years is that? That is 16? Is that
16
right?
years full time right now. Yep.
Yeah. So, what would you give your younger self
Um,
advice on?
Probably don't be so bullheaded about things. Especially that was some of the issues with me getting involved with the company when I was younger. As a young man, I think we all kind of tend to think that we know everything. We know better than our family members and stuff. Be a little more open minded about things. And I really wish that, you know, uh, we started looking for better talent around us, and paying for that and not being afraid to, in what we might think at that point, overpaying somebody um, to actually have them come in and elevate, our whole company here. Which is kind of what we've done with the last few employees who have retired is we've really kind of asked what they wanted walking through the door. And I said, oh, yeah, I told them, okay, if that's the figure you're looking for, this is what we offer from as a company. I'm fine with that as long as you're worth it. If you're claiming you're worth this, just be worth it and we'll have no trouble. And that has really been a game changer. We've hired some of the best guys we've ever had working for us right now. Um, I think that would really be it instead of, kind of having this old adage that I grew up in, like, well, you're going to start sweeping floors and then work your way up and this and that, and we want you to learn our way. It would be more more or less cutting down on the micromanagement of the day to day stuff that really gets in the way of actually making progress here.
Well, and those guys can probably bring the ones with experience can probably bring some good knowledge that I don't know, have they brought some good ideas that have changed some of your, operations at
Oh,
all?
absolutely, sure, sure. And I mean, just because we've been doing a business or doing these projects a certain way for years on end doesn't mean there's not a different way to do it or there's a better way to do it. And that's definitely helped us out quite a bit. One of my technicians, he will actually go home at night. I don't ask him to do any of this, but he's sending me, different tools and stuff like that that he thinks could be advantageous for us,
Wow,
different ideas. He does this on his own time.
I love that.
Without
That's
me
really
telling him.
cool.
So yeah, yeah. So we got a great, great crew right now, and I'm just trying not to, for lack of a better term, screw that up.
I know, well, sometimes you just gotta let them take charge of some stuff, and it's hard as an owner sometimes to let go,
Yeah.
but it sounds like you're doing a good job with that. So I see you have a ton of canned goods behind you.
Oh yes.
You're doing a new marketing tactic.
Mhm.
Tell us about that.
Um, so in order to kind of help the community out here, and also kind of keep us a little busier around this time period where we get to the holiday season, it's difficult to get in customers' homes, for checkups. They got a lot going on. They're super busy, but I'd rather get in their homes preseason. I'm sure as many of us would, than be there on the first 0-degree night when you have all your customers calling that they've had
Right.
initially. So we're really trying to get in more homes here and also help out the community. So we are offering a special rate for checkups or tune-ups on customers' heating systems for $45 plus 5 cans of food or food items um, donated to the local food pantry. Excuse me, um, and that is a little less than a week's collections
Wow.
for this past week. So we're going to be donating all of that in the coming months, and more to the local food pantry. So we're very excited about that. Truthfully, it was an idea that I didn't come up with. I've heard from someone else that they had a lot of success with. So we started doing that, and I just thought, hey, we'll give it a shot here. But the response from our customers has been huge. They love it. They think it's a great idea. Some customers, again, we only ask for 5 cans of food. They're actually donating 10 or
Oh,
more, or
wow.
whatever they might have. So they're very energized by it and excited about it. So it's a program that I'm very excited about too. Now that I'm getting feedback from our customers and our guys that this is really something interesting and could be great for everybody involved. So we're quite excited about it at this point.
Yeah, I know. I think I when you told me that idea, I thought, "Oh, that is a fantastic idea."
Yeah.
And so the response has been good,
Yes.
and you're getting in some homes,
Hmm.
and you're helping your community. It's a
Yeah.
win for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So it's been great for everybody involved so far.
Yeah. And, I think that you were saying that you like for your guys to have that great attitude about training and learning, and it's obvious that as a business owner, you've been doing a lot of that too, and I love to see that.
Yeah.
Um, and just, as a side note,
Mhm.
full caveat, Explore Media is handling the marketing for Reardon HVAC. So
Yes, they are. They've been a great partner for us.
oh,
So
nice. Okay, so I've got just a couple more questions, but one of them is when we're talking about, kind of smaller mid-size HVAC companies, what do you think is the one mistake that holds them back from growing?
um, for smaller, mid-sized HVAC companies, I think really, the point that made the difference for me was kind of letting go of the reins, and again, not micromanaging everybody, but just trying to direct the crew with a common goal. Um, being having to be involved with every little thing that happens. You really, if you're gonna grow, you have to put trust in the people around you. You have to have people you can trust, and you have to let them make decisions. And I think my crew has been around me long enough that if they couldn't get a hold of me for one reason or another, if I disappeared for a week, 2 weeks, and they couldn't get a hold of me at all, I really don't have any concern that they would do anything that would warrant me any type of concern. I think they'd be able to come together, or even individually make a decision on their own that would be just as close, if not better, than the decision I would personally make if they had me on the phone or I was standing next to them. So you really need to make sure the people around you can trust. That they uh, are going to make a good decision, and that's why I really keep all my guys pretty well included on everything that is going on with me, everything that's going on with what I'm thinking, and decisions I made with the customers. Like I don't hide anything from them at all. They know what we're getting for the jobs. They know what all the equipment costs and everything. Um, so there's never any decision. I'm not the end point that they have to get to. They don't have to talk to me to make a decision. They have enough information around them, and I've empowered them to do that to go ahead and make their own decisions for the benefit of the customer. Because that is the most important thing at the end of the day is that we make the customer happy. It's not that any one person is correct here; it's that the customer is taken care of and satisfied.
I love that.
Mhm,
You've empowered them to make the customer happy, and I think that's great, and it sounds like they're already protecting the business in other ways, and so with the knowledge that you've been giving them, I think that's great.
mhm.
So tell me, what's next for Reardon HVAC? What are you most excited about for the future?
I'm excited for growth. I love what I'm doing. I love that the group I have around me right now. I'm hoping to grow that. Enhance everyone's life around me for the most part, best I can anyway. Real excited about this food drive that we have going on right now. I think it's going to be great for the community. I'm excited to drop off, multiple totes over to the food pantry. And I'm excited for my vacation coming up, where I'll be going. I'll be leaving Massachusetts, where it's currently like 33, 34 degrees, and heading on down south to the Florida Keys. So
And you have a big camper, right, that you take down?
yeah, yeah, we, got a big, camping trailer we'll be towing down there and living out of for, about 2 weeks total right after
I love
Thanksgiving.
that.
Yeah,
And I love that you have a business that allows you to do that at this point, and that you have people that you can trust while you're gone.
ab
So, yeah, there
absolutely.
were a lot of great things that I learned today about, what you're looking for, that you train for attitude, trainability, communicators that can build relationships, that people that are empowered to make the customer happy. Um, I love that you said you're not afraid to overpay,
Mhm.
um, and that you expect the people that you hire to be worth it. I love
Yeah,
that.
absolutely,
I
absolutely,
love that. Chris, I've really enjoyed having you on here. Thanks for joining us on Explore HVAC and Home Services podcast. It's been a lot of valuable advice that's been shared. And to our listeners, thanks for tuning in. Remember to subscribe for more insights, some stories, some tips. And until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep exploring.
Thanks, Pam, appreciate your time.